When you wear a mask, you put on an object that has cutouts for your eyes. The cutouts allow you to see the world behind the mask. In the same way, you can create a mask with CSS that uses one object to hide parts of another object and show others. You could use just about anything as a mask: images, gradients, text, and even shapes that you create with Illustrator. Like with gradients, you can layer masks to create complex shapes. So let's get started. And here we have a series of photos, and we're going to apply different masks to each of these photos. We also have some text at the very end that we will be using to mask a photo. All right, so let's start with the simplest of masks, and that will be the image. What we'll do is we will type in WebKit mask image, and we'll use a URL to find an image that we're going to mask with. This image is a PNG image with a transparent background, where the transparency creates this rip effect. Let's take a look at what that looks like. You can see that it looks like it's a black and white image, but in reality, it's a transparent image. If you pulled it up in Photoshop, you would see that this is transparent. So if you saved any file with PNG transparency, you can pull that up and make that object mask another photo. Another type of mask that you can use is an SVG mask. SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics, and here's what it looks like. It's actually a definition of a shape. You can create these in Illustrator, so you don't have to write all the code. You just make whatever shape you want, make it all solid, black, and then save it from Illustrator as an SVG. You can then use that to mask any element in your layout. Okay, we can also use gradients as masks. Right, so this gradient is a radial gradient that goes from the center at position 50 to the center. So it's a centered gradient, and it changes colors from completely opaque to totally transparent. So it's creating a gradient that's actually fading out in a circular manner. Okay, finally, let's do a gradient that masks text. It's a little bit different than what we've been doing so far. Okay, we already have this text formatted quite large so that we can see the masked object inside it. To create a text gradient, we are first going to change the background to an image. The background appears behind the text. And then we need to add two more parameters here. First is the WebKit background clip that tells that background to be clipped or masked by the text. The problem right now is that the text is completely black and it's actually overshadowing or covering up the image. So we'll need to tell the text color to be transparent. And now we can see the image behind the text. You can actually use an RGBA color here if you wanted the text to have a little bit of a tint, and it would show up with the tint while still showing the background. Okay, as you can see, you can create masks from a variety of different shapes and different types of elements like gradients, things that you export from Illustrator, and Adobe Photoshop transparent PNGs. Masks are quite flexible, and you can even apply mask to text, which lets you do a lot of different special effects without having to use images.